Hallo, Hallöchen Leute, willkommen wieder zurück zu einem weiteren Part zu Genshin Impact. Und wir sind hier wieder am Start und werden diese Nacht hier mal in Ruhe ausklingen lassen. Ich würde zu gern zu diesem Baum da hinten hingehen. Aber ich denke mal, der wird wahrscheinlich wieder weg sein, wenn die Story hier zu Ende ist. Und als nächstes, ja, wir beenden das hier, die Nacht ausruhen. Okay, da ist die Nacht auch schon wieder rum. Gut.
Time to go! Let's meet the others at the mausoleum of King Deshret.
Wir sind aber beim Mausoleum von König Deshret. Würde ich nur mal so sagen. Da hinten ist der Baum.
I have not felt this way in a long time. Standing up high, gazing out at the rolling dunes. One cannot know what freedom truly means.
The golden slumber truly lives up to its name as a dreamland. Though desert sands exist there too, no mirage.
Dendro Archon, what is on your mind?
I was wondering whose counsel I should seek on the questions in my heart.
What kind of question?
So many. More than can be put into words. As I once said to a friend, we look, we see, and we comprehend. What are the many disasters that this world faces, but the sum of...
The biggest question you should be asking is how to seize victory.
Yes. Although, I would express it differently. I must not fail. And so the question I am most curious about now is whether the path to...
What we declare to be a young sapling, we may, in fact, find to be a towering tree. If we would only cast aside our ignorance and look beyond the veil of time.
Nahida! We're here! Just in time. The preparations are almost complete.
Ready when you are. We're here too.
Miss Nicole! Miss Nicole! You run so fast! I thought I'd get a lot of exercise as a forest ranger, but I can barely keep up with you.
Sorry, I got a little carried away.
Lesser Lord Kusanali, the equipment is ready, and the modifications to Aru are all complete. As discussed during our meeting...
Accessing Irminsul via the Akasha is no longer feasible at this stage. There are other options, it's just... they're a little more extreme, and more technologically demanding to implement. Maybe you should take it from here.
The architecture and functionality of the Akasha terminals overlap considerably with Aru. There is reasonable evidence to suggest that one was developed based on the other, or that they both utilize technology of the... As long as the transplant and merge operation succeeds, Aru should theoretically work on a scale greater than the Akasha and approximately equal to Irminsul. It will become the largest. A system this powerful is capable of a lot of different things. In the past, the Akasha was primarily used for one-way information transmission, but I suspect it could also serve as a central... In the pursuit of greater knowledge, some scholars have attempted to connect their consciousness to Irminsul through the use of terminals.
Correct. In academic language, scholars who reach that stage are said to have entered Satyavata life. Hypatia has performed this practice many times in the past. And she was once on...
Right. And this at least proves that there is a zone within Irminsul that can be connected.
That's right. Providing wisdom to the people is one of the very reasons for Irminsul's existence. I think I understand where you're going.
In that case, I'll skip to the conclusion then. We need to further modify Aru. Merge it with the Akasha. Manufacture
Every person? Even the desert folk?
Yes.
I've already calculated the amount of raw materials we...
So you mean we're going to get new Akasha terminals?
Yes. But this time, the people of Sumeru won't be using them to acquire knowledge, just to connect to Irminsul.
When we evacuated the city, we brought all the important assets from the House of Dana, in case we ended up needing them. Fortunately, this included the Akasha system's main terminal. We've checked all the relevant records, and one thing is certain. Nothing like this has ever been done.
Everyone in Sumeru is part of the plan. Whoever controls the people controls the situation.
Since this function of Irminsul was introduced, it has only ever been made available to scholars. But by expanding the scale to include all the people of Sumeru, all the individual connections under normal circumstances, Irminsul would be able to cope with the additional load. But thus, it might be possible to shut it down completely by overloading it. Counting down. 3, 2, 1.
Are you ready?
Ready! People sought knowledge, they turned to the Tree of Wisdom. Today, we use it to save Sumeru and the whole world. These boughs that nurtured learning must not become tools for destroying the world.
Stop. Please stop. End this transformation.
You would shut down Irminsul just to stop me? You fools. I have all the time in the world.
Success! The evil Irminsul tree is step growing!
Übergangsweise.
Great.
What a display of true courage. The courage to think and the courage to act. I never thought I would witness the shutdown of Irminsul with my own eyes.
Indeed, only humans could do such a thing. God.
What was once created for spreading knowledge is now used for another purpose. A rather ingenious.
I am grateful to you three for your help. Only thanks to you were we able to extend Aru's interference capabilities. Now, nobody who wears a terminal will have their activity accurately tracked by Irminsul. No matter how many eyes Dottore possesses, he will not be able to see us clearly. Now for the next step. I will need the help of your supreme powers once again.
How might we be of service, Lord of Dendro?
I need to reach the Eternal Oasis immediately. Right now?
In that case, Ibis King, would you agree that this is a fine opportunity to dust off our old tricks?
Never. I assume you have that chess set with you?
You mean the one you gave to me as a gift? Asking for it back, are you?
How could I? You misjudge me. I just wanted to show you another way you can use it. Connect to Safei Shatranj.
Safei Shatranj? You mean that place in the desert?
Thoth's chess set gains its power from the chessboard laid out in the desert by King Deshret and ourselves. All ceremonies conducted using the chess set must be active. In other words, the chess set is an extension of the chessboard. In the past, move...
Transfer initiated. Entering live combat mode.
Aber ich muss sagen, die Cutscene gerade, die war echt episch gemacht. Boah, aber wir mussten aber auch ganz schön lange hungern nach einer Cutscene. Ich meine, wir sind bestimmt 5, 6 Videos oder so drin und das ist die erste Cutscene, aber dafür war sie recht lange. Das muss man natürlich auch berücksichtigen. Hä? Warum ist der hier? Hier.
We haven't heard a single word from our spy in the desert. I'm afraid he might have been captured.
Naja, hier ist ja keiner mehr. Diese haben sozusagen offene Türen eingetreten.
Never mind. But we spent years turning him. And a lot of more.
Nothing comes for free in this world. But the loss is not without its purpose. For a small price, we have wasted a precious amount of the limited time they have. Quite a bargain, if you ask me.
Understood.
Weighing profit against loss is a necessary part of life. But to tell the truth, I have been operating at a loss since this all began. Since many centuries ago. For instance, why would a banker act as the executor of a will? If you hadn't deposited your personal belongings at Northland Bank, I would have no reason to be here right now.
Händler und Geschäftsmann. Der 9. unter den 11. der Fatui. Also, das ist der schwächste von ihnen.
Dottore, I've placed your final data backup into the ley lines as per our contract. I trust we are now square for the safe deposit fees you paid.
Is it not a little petty to split hairs like this, given our amicable relationship?
I consider sound bookkeeping a matter of principle.
Do not forget that you only live to see this day thanks to me. In fact, every day of your life since you met me, you've been living on borrowed time.
Why, that's hardly a fair assessment. I will concede that my survival was perhaps at your whim, but I became a harbinger on my own merits. Managing money is not like other professions. Mine is not a role I could have acquired based on your recommendation alone, and certainly not one I could have lasted so long in without genuine ability.
The information stored in the ley lines is quite comprehensive. Rest assured, I have not forgotten how strong your pride is. Well, I presume you have no sense of fragmentation while talking with me?
How could anything possibly go wrong with such strict measures in place? The remainder of your soul was split in two, with one half sent to Nodcry and the other stored in the most secure vault of the Northland Bank.
Der Tore ist einfach
Though I
Voldemort.
must say, your disdain for the other segments is quite amusing. Zandik is you, and you are Zandik. Zandik created the segments, yet you, a segment yourself, reject him.
That is, Zandik, created segments of various ages in his later years. To achieve this, he had to... But as constructive as it sounds, it erases my uniqueness. If each segment is equally me, then by the same token, none of them are truly me. A soul living forever in the past inevitably holds different views than he did in his later years. The same thing that completes me also restricts me. You too might ask yourself which stage of your life you want to be preserved at. The day your business failed? Or the day you were framed by a gang and sold off to a medical lab as a test subject?
We needn't dredge up the past.
This undesirable plan was eventually scrapped. Lesser Lord Kusanali was quite right. I needed an opportunity to eliminate myself. And after that, I concluded that there was no more effective plan than directly splitting the soul. Once the soul is transferred out...
The other half of your soul suffered a crushing defeat in Nodcry, you know.
And yet in the process, I obtained the information I always wanted, did I not? Because now we finally know where the...
I once thought your ultimate goal was to ascend to godhood. But as it turns out, that was merely one of your experiments.
Experiments take many forms. Most people are too eager for success, too fixated on the end goal. A suspiciously vacant seat, a new face. I trust you can put two and two together. The reason it doesn't exist.
What can I say? After all your efforts, you really did uncover the world's secrets. So, is the new world you promised a lie?
No, it never was. I am glad to be able to control Irmin's soul from within. Now I shall attempt to create a new world. Almost everyone faces the prospect of death, but not a single person has ever been able to experiment unrestricted. I am the only one to have overcome this enormous challenge. Would I not be letting the...
Clearly, the dividing of your soul did not affect the magnitude of your ego. Out of all the versions of you that have ever existed, this you is the most insane.
Is that why you chose to work with me? Which was it then? My insanity?
Could I call myself a venture capitalist without a suitably ambitious plan to invest in? Yours happened to fit the bill quite perfectly.
Well then, I must say, while I am surprised enough that you showed up at all, what surprises me more is that you chose to present yourself as my former subordinate, and not as the banker Pantalone.
Aber warum ist sein Gesicht so dunkel? Soll das symbolisieren, dass seine Menschlichkeit aufgegeben hat?
Why make things harder than they need to be? Exposing my true identity in a situation like this would only serve to destroy diplomatic relations between Snezhnaya and Sumer. Showing up in the name of the original antagonist gives you the recognition you rightly deserve, while also being sensitive to Snezhnaya's. As for why I'm here, if you're suggesting that your credit is in the negative, I won't argue with that. Many people say that about you.
I'd argue that a significant factor in your willingness to cooperate is the fact that you have but a few years of life left after my death. Is it not true that a relationship should be judged by both the positive...
So some of what I said actually made it into your head after all. It's true that I hope you don't die too soon, but don't you find that a strange thing for me to say? Especially for a human being.
Let's not pretend that you're any more innocent than I am. Are we not the same in this regard? We both despise the existing laws of this world, and neither of us enjoy being under anyone else's control.
Is it really so greedy to want the world to operate by a new set of rules?
Of course not, my dear friend. And as I've said before, mutual interest is the foundation.
I just hope there never comes a day when I have to work too hard to prove that.
Regrader, sir. People have been spotted approaching Sumeru City.
How strange. Despite your access to Irminsol's data, it appears the soldiers noticed before you did. They must have found a workaround. Well, Dottore, I trust you know what this means. The fact is...
They're coming. They'll breach the city gates any moment now.
But even so, I would say Irminsol is a wonderfully convenient thing on the whole. If you do manage to create a new world, perhaps you could plant one up.
I'll consider it.
What do you need me to do? Stall them?
The experiment will take time. Stall them for as long as possible.
Very well. But you're really asking for the moon. Have you heard this story? There was once a guilty man, kneeling in the center of a church while an angry mob outside waited to bring him to justice. He pleaded with the gods, begging them to grant him one final request. The chance to finish. Many suns and moons passed. Seasons changed. And still, his confession continued, as if he intended...
Are you suggesting I worship you as a god? Or were you hoping that I might confess my sin?
Certainly not the latter. That would make my life miserable indeed.
Und wo wir gerade von Göttern sprechen, also, wie ist die Lage? Und jetzt zu deinen Zukunftsplänen.
For someone who despises them so, you never seem to have any objections to me creating or becoming one. At first, I thought you'd be furious.
Concerned I would terminate our partnership, were you?
Not at all. You had reasons why our partnership...
Don't you find people's attitudes toward gods amusing? A god descends from the heavens and people worship it unreservedly, blindly following whatever rule. And yet, when they see an ordinary person gain godlike levels of power by virtue of their own hard work...
Is that supposed to be a compliment?
No. I was just thinking. I pity the man who would call you...
There's no need to be so
Wo wir gerade von Göttern sprechen. Also, wie ist die Lage?
I know it's a little late in the day to be asking this, but how have you been keeping?
Ach so,
I'm flattered that you would take the time out of your busy schedule to consider my well-being, Doctor. The part of your soul that went to Nodcry caused quite a stir, sending our organization back to the drawing board on numerous fronts.
Dear me, I must have caused you no end of trouble.
You certainly did. I had the rare honor of being summoned before the Tsaritsa with Pulcinella to answer for myself. Don't worry, I pulled through. At most, it's a public relations nightmare. I made sure of.
Now I'm curious. How did you explain yourself?
Oh, it was quite simple. I just pinned the blame on someone who wasn't there to defend himself. I could hardly be expected to defy the demands of someone as insistent as the second Harbinger, now could I?
How you slander me. You know full well that I am perfectly amenable to read. There's no question that you are partly to blame for the ruin of my reputation.
Und jetzt zu deinen Zukunftsplänen.
Do you have anything lined up for when this is all over?
Hard to say. Field work always takes quite a toll on me, as you know. Once I'm back at Snezhnaya, I'll start with a well-earned...
Why are you so eager to ruin your lungs after I went to the trouble of replacing them for you?
If you have an issue with it, feel free to try to stop me.
Na da.
What's on your mind?
The limits of humanity. It's a pity. Despite running countless calculations, I find there is simply no way to reduce any further the...
It's rare to hear you admit to being unable to achieve...
I beg to differ. For instance, as I've told you before, the original me was prone to...
Ah, yes, of course. One of the reasons you often sent yourself out on errands. What are you thinking about now?
A new experiment. In the event that my soul was depleted, say we extracted my data from someone else's memories, yours for instance, and then combined it with your intact soul as the basement.
Such a scenario would be impossible.
Oh?
As long as your current soul survives, there will be no need to create a new individual. Don't forget, you were the one who approved of the present situation wherein only... And if you ceased to exist, who would be capable of...
Since the day I met you, you've always excelled at talking your way out of it.
Bester.
Isn't it a little too early to be saying goodbye? Not that I wish to keep you from your business, of course. Very well. Let's leave the conversation there for now.
Na gut. Ich bin mal gespannt, was er so noch in der Hinterhand hat. Der Geschäftsmann.
The power of King Deshret's 7 pillars is truly remarkable. With just a chessboard, you can move an entire...
Yeah, sets us up for a much easier fight. Really makes my day. The last time we stormed the city, it involved a lot more running around.
I wonder how many people can say they stormed a city twice in their lifetime.
I was just thinking that. I've definitely had more than my fair share of unusual experience.
This is my first time here, actually. We never usually leave Gandharvaville.
I hope this will be my last time.
Does everyone have to chime in? Can't we just fight?
What an amusing comment, my dear lady. Yet humans often alleviate tension via small talk.
Whoa! Why is Candace's shield top?
Because the image on her shield is one of me. And I, of course, can appear.
Huh. Well, la-dee-da. Isn't that fancy? Could I get in on this?
You wish for your gauntlet to speak? Why, certainly.
Ahem. I think you'll find that it is I whose image is carved.
Thanks. Definitely feel stronger now.
You're welcome, my lady. I am glad to lend you my power.
Sino, what's the situation?
Bei ihm spricht jetzt auch gleich
There are
irgendwas.
troops stationed at every entrance. As we expected. A frontal assault will suffice. Everyone, stick to the plan. We'll take the main entrance. You head for the House of... Move out!
Ja, gut. Dann wird es Zeit für die zweite Stürmung. Na gut, okay. Candice, Dea und Sino sind also das erste Team. Na gut, Leute. Dann würde ich hier erstmal Schluss machen. Wir machen dann im nächsten Part weiter. Und dann kümmern wir uns um die Stürmung. Bis dann!